Hello and welcome back to my garden. Today is going to be a little different from what I usually do, which is bring you guys along for some various projects that I'm doing and or garden tour. And there's still gardens to tour here in my garden because, again, if you're a long-time follower, you know I have lots of little gardens all sort of throughout my property. If you're a new viewer, then I'll let you know. I have a lot of little gardens scattered throughout the property. There's the house bed gardens, there's the flower garden, the vegetable garden here behind me, the rose garden, the orchard, and there's more to come. But today I'm not going to do that. Today I have to play catch up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring you along with my catch up. And as you can see in front of me here, I have a couple of pallets full of stuff. I have some compost here. That's going to go out to the new flower garden. We're going to use that to continue to build up beds. I still have plants that need to be planted. That's what this is for. This one over here is a pallet full of various mulches. I got a couple more bags of the cedar mulch, which I'm using on the in-ground vegetable bed pathways. And the theory behind that is just try to keep the ants away. It also helps to find the walk spaces for my further vegetable garden planting, which I have to do a lot of this week. There's a lot of things that I need to do and I got to catch up on. I also have some more pine bark mulch. Quick word on the mulches. I'm choosing the cedar mulch based on the possibility it might keep the ants away, and it also allowed me to find the walkways in the vegetable garden. The pine bark mulch I'm using because it stays loose and fluffy versus the hardwood bark mulch that I used previously, because that would get compacted and weeds would actually grow into the mulch. It wouldn't actually grow through the mulch, they would grow into the mulch. So weed seeds would land on top, and I'd have all sorts of clovers and grasses and whatnot growing on top. You know, again, that compacted layer of mulch, which is no bueno. So I switched over to the pine bark mulch. I may switch to something else in the future, but for now that's what I'm using, and that's the reason I'm using it. I'm not using it for a color aesthetic or a certain texture look. I'm just using it because it doesn't get compacted. So if any weeds do try to grow into it or through it, it's difficult and it's easy for me to yank those weeds. And then in this box here, I've got irises, which I will touch on in a minute. So these irises here, I have just recently acquired from a family member's house. And if you noticed, I didn't post a video up on Friday, and normally I try to post up videos on Friday, but I had a family matter that I needed to attend to over the weekend, and therefore I was busy taking care of that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm behind on things, but I did receive these bearded irises. So what I did was I had dug them up and I had cut the leaves back to try to A, get them into the vehicle, and B, to create as less stress on the plant as possible, because the plants are still trying to grow. Now these have all already flowered, which was nice. And simply what I'm going to do with them today is put them into a tray, which I'll show you later, or a series of trays, maybe after I divide them, and just keep them moist and happy until I find a location for them out in the flower garden. That's my theory and plan. So, but before I do that, I want to take care of something else. While I was taking care of other things on the weekend, I received in the mail these two Russian sages. These are Blue Jean Baby Russian sages. Now, if you've been following with the channel for a while, and I've already mentioned it, I've been trying to grow Russian sage from seed, a particular variety called Blue Steel. Sadly, none of it took, and the seeds are quite expensive. So I saw a sale from American Meadows, I believe it was, not sponsored, and they had these Russian sages. So I thought, for where I want to put them out in the flower garden, which is in those two pots that I have out in the flower garden. If you're new to the channel, I'll eventually show you me planting these up out there. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know what I'm talking about. I have those pots out in the flower. Either way, I'm going to put these into slightly larger pots today, just to keep them fine and happy until I go to plant them out there. So let's do that first. Let's pot these up. All right, got a couple of these proven winner old pots here. Just want a little bit on the bottom. I'm just using my potting mix here, and this is just temporary. Well, these have pretty nice roots. Little tangled on the end, not too bad. Put that in there. Another one. Now this is just going to be temporary, but I don't want to keep them in these smaller pots. I'm actually going to do something radical, perhaps radical. I'm not going to water these today. I will water them tomorrow because both of them are in moist soil right now, except for the potting mix I just put in. But I think I'm going to leave these at least till tomorrow before I water them. And that's what I'm thinking, because I don't want them sitting with their wet feet too long and then they wind up getting root rot or something. So we'll see what happens. If you guys think I should be watering them overnight, let me know in the comments below. You also may have noticed the mess, and I think this happens to everybody's greenhouse / potting shed in the springtime when they're rushing around trying to do all the different projects and empty pots and recoup pots and all that good stuff. I think people just wind up, at least I do. But if you have a messy greenhouse or potting shed, please let me know in the comments below. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take care of those irises like as I said I was going to. And what I'm going to do is just fill each one of these shallow trays, which have drainage holes on the bottom, with some potting mix, and then I'll basically nestle them into each one after maybe cleaning them up a bit, dividing them, that kind of thing. And they'll stay in these trays probably for the next few weeks until I get their area where I plan on planting them out situated and taken care of, probably the next week or so, because I think I'm going to mix these irises together with a Amistad salvia that I have. Now the Amistad salvia is supposed to get 4 to 6 feet tall. So wide, I think it's going to be at least 4 feet wide. So I'm thinking Amistad salvia towards the back of the bed, irises towards the front of the bed. That's what I'm thinking. And then even if the irises aren't flowering, they still have the tall, thick, lush looking leaves. And then that'll look nice as sort of a foreground to the Amistad salvia, which will have the bigger, darker leaves with the purple flowers. Am I making sense here? Or do you think I should combine the plants with something else? I don't know. So again, leave those comments below. But for now, let me get these taken care of and situated so that they live long enough to make it to the point of planting them out. By the way, I have no idea what variety of iris these are, and I have no idea what they're going to look like. I have no idea if they're mixed or not, or if they're just all the same color. So it's going to be a surprise for me next spring. Okay, so what I'm going to do, or what I've done here, is I've temporarily put them in these trays of the potting soil. I'm going to keep them underneath the shade cloth again for the next few days / week, because they're going to have transplant shock from being dug up and then divided and then stuck into these trays. So I don't know if all these are going to survive. Some of these divisions only had maybe, let's say, one small root coming out of the rhizome, which is fine theoretically, because theoretically it'll grow more and it'll hopefully take some root. A couple of the ones had longer roots, and they may have been like the mother plant or the original plant that everything grew off from. I just cut those roots back. Theoretically, again, it'll splay out more roots, but keeping them here on the potting bench underneath the shade should reduce the amount of transplant shock theoretically, and hopefully in time they'll start building new roots and then growing. And then, like I said, probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll be planting them out into the garden someplace. Speaking of the potting bench, since we're here, one of the things I did, knowing I wasn't going to be able to attend to the garden for a number of days, was I placed a lot of these young seedlings into trays, your typical 10 by 20 tray, and these have no holes in them. And I put a little bit of water on the bottom, and that was just to keep the plants watered, because I wasn't going to be able to water them myself. And if we had the high heat that we were supposed to have, which I think we did, the plants wouldn't suffer too much. But we did get rain, approximately an inch of rain while I was gone. So now all these trays are absolutely filled to the brim with water. Thus the plants are sort of drowning right now. So I'm going to take a minute here to empty out these trays, and then I'm going to pull you in closer, just take a look at some of these plants we have. So now that that's done, let's take a quick look and see what I still have to plant out. All right, we're gonna start here. This is a amaryllis that was also recovered from another family member. It was cut back and it has put on new leaves and it's doing well here underneath the shade cloth. These are the irises you just saw me take care of. Over in this little tray here, I have chives. And in this tray here, I have a little baby lavender. I'm not really being successful in growing lavender from seed this year, but that one seems to be taking. Here we have some agastaches. And over here, there's an echinacea. Oh, I apologize. This is a cardinal flower. And then over here, this is a Thailand giant elephant ear. And I got that as a little bare root thing. And then it started dying and now it's come back, which is really cool. I have some more African daisy pole stars. This tray of Mexican sunflower, or this cup of Mexican sunflower hasn't done anything, nor this one. But I have more Mexican sunflower here. Actually, I apologize, this is purple coneflower. This is purple coneflower. We got verbenas. We got more zinnias that need to go out, dark opal basils. Oh, we come down here. There's a parsley. That's an echinacea that needs to go out. Sea hollies that have to go out. These are Sweet Williams back over here. They need to go out. This is chocolate chip tobacco. I don't know if that's focusing or not, but chocolate chip tobacco, so that's got to go out. Dahlias, more dahlias. An unidentified plant. Not sure what this is. If you have any clues or thoughts, please leave them in the comments below. I've got columbine, which needs to be up-potted if not planted out. More dahlias. Yellow torch Mexican sunflower, as well as orange Mexican sunflower. And I'll be planting out in the next few weeks. Into the front flower garden, and you'll see where. Pineapple lily that needs to get planted out. I've got more Rebecchias. I've got this is a bush. The name eludes me at the moment. Oh, berry poppins. This is berry poppins. And I got it as a small sort of bare root, but tiny plant, and I'll have to up-pot that soon. And what is this large one? This is bee balm. We got bee balms, we got rose campions, we have some up-potted gladiolus seedlings. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot that still needs to be planted out. I am running way behind, but when family calls, you have to take care of family matters, despite your love of the garden, and you have to do what you have to do. Let's go look at some of the other stuff that's happening around the garden. Okay, here in the veg garden, these are my 2 Yukon Gold potato bags, and they've been showing no signs of potatoes growing in the last couple of weeks, but now we finally have potatoes coming up. So that's very cool. Over here, as you remember, this is my sunflower bed, and I have numerous sunflower seedlings coming up. And then I have some older sunflowers. These are the Midnight Rouge, I believe. Midnight Rouge sunflowers coming up. And then there's some more, and I believe these really small ones down here are teddy bears. So that'll be fun. Over here on the back deck, I have, believe it or not, 4 pots. Back here is a dahlia, and that's doing well, but next to it I have this pinto mix and this pinto mix coleus. And while I was away, they have absolutely exploded. Next to that, I have a red lips salvia, and that's doing also quite well. Here are butterflies enjoying the verbena. There's a couple of bees flying around too. I don't know if they'll show up in the video. Got a bee working this red hot poker. Apparently they do enjoy the red hot poker. I'm not sure how they're getting anything out of there, but they're working it. Gladiolus, that's getting ready to flower. That'll probably happen this week sometime. And while I was away, these Royal Sunset lilies popped open, which is really fun and exciting. Thankfully, not much is happening here in the rose garden, although I do need to give you guys a tour of the rose garden soon to show you what's going on, what's happening, and how some of the new plants that I've planted are faring. So that'll be coming up soon. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video. This way you'll follow along with that. So I have that video coming up soon, and I also have to do a video on the house beds to show you all the plants that are growing there and how they're faring. And I was gonna show you guys more of me deadheading the snapdragons or taking care of some of the other little jobs I have to do here around the garden to catch up with, including mowing the lawn. The lawn's getting very long here. But as I was recording this video, more family matters have popped up, which take priority over the garden. This is just life. This is what happens. I'm sure all the same thing happens to you guys as well. And we get distracted or pulled away from our gardens sometimes more than we'd like to. But again, these things happen. Probably one of the best things I like about gardening, though, is that a lot of this stuff takes care of itself, especially the stuff in the ground. Once the stuff is in the ground, the plants, the trees, etc., and they're established, that they can take care of themselves and you don't have to be there 24/7 holding their hands. Some of this other stuff, such as the seedlings or the small plants, yes, they need a bit more hand holding, but I don't plan on going anywhere for the next few days. So I will be catching up, hopefully, and making some more videos with better content for you guys, hopefully in the near future. So look forward to that. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon so you can stay up to date as to what I'm doing here in the garden. Also, if you don't follow me over on the YouTube community page, go over there, check that out. I often post up polls and quizzes and all sorts of other stuff to keep you guys informed and entertained, and also get your feedback on certain things. So please feel free to go over there. Also, please check out all the links below. I have affiliate links to all sorts of fun places. I have links to my books that I've written and all sorts of other merch. If you guys care, if you want to go check that out, please do. I appreciate it and it would help out the channel to grow, because this garden is going to continue to grow. Unfortunately, right now, life gets in the way sometimes, pulls me away from the garden, slows things down, but the garden still grows. Expert gardeners or long-term gardeners, you guys all know this. And if you're starting a garden or if you're just starting a garden, don't get too worried. Again, a lot of this stuff will take care of itself. It's just a matter of then you catching up with the garden to do the deadheading and the weeding and the mowing the lawns and etc. I'll get there, we'll get there, and again, the garden is going to continue to grow. So, with all that being said, I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.